If your law school experience was anything like mine, chances are they taught you nothing in law school about the business of how to manage a law firm.
You're listening to the Profit First for Lawyers podcast, the official companion show to the book Profit First for Lawyers by RJon Robbins. Now, this podcast is for you if you want to bring home more profit while working fewer hours in the office, spending even more time with your loved ones, and turning your office into a lean, mean, profit-breathing machine. So if you're tired of working for your law firm instead of your law firm working for you, stay tuned for some really practical insights that will get you the results you've always wanted. It's time to put your BS aside for the next few minutes and put yourself, your family, your firm, and your profit first. Welcome back to another episode of the Profit First for Lawyers podcast. I'm your host, Carly, and today I am in studio with a fabulous law firm owner whose story I'm really excited to share today. Today, I'm welcoming Colleen Robinson to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I am really excited. I know a little bit about your story, and I refrained from asking too many questions in advance because I wanted to have you spill all the tea here today. So I'm excited to get to dig in a little bit. But before we do you want to go ahead and give the audience a little bit of a precursor? Who are you? What area of law do you practice? And what interested you in that particular area?
I am an estate planning attorney out in San Diego, California. I chose estate planning because I wanted to be a part of something larger for families and creating legacies that go on for multiple generations and showing people that they don't have to accept mediocrity. There's a different future for all of us than what the masses choose. And that I don't want families stuck in court. I don't want them losing what they had worked their entire lives to achieve or to save. And I don't want families ripped apart by conflict. So I chose estate planning because I firmly believe in all of those things.
Colleen, I love that. You said, you don't have to accept mediocrity or what everybody else is doing. And that hit hard and reminds me, I need to do some work on my estate plan. So thank you for coming on and reminding me this is really important. Don't drop the ball on this, Carly.
Yes, do it, Carly.
Well, I know that you brought a specific clip from the studio today. Do you want to go ahead and give us just a little bit of a teaser? Let's play the clip, and then I'm dying to deep dive into your story here.
Well, I think when I read this portion of Profit First for Lawyers, it really opened my eyes and had me think about the law firm completely differently. And that's the 7 main parts, which most attorneys don't even know exist in their own firms. So I think this clip is so important. And like I said, it was so eye-opening for myself and how I viewed my own business.
Oh, intriguing. All right, let's roll the clip.
So when we pop open the hood in struggling law firms, we find one or more of the 7 main parts have been left unattended. Often, this is not the fault of the lawyers who own the law firm. After all, what did they teach any of us in law school about the business of running a law firm? If your law school experience was anything like mine, chances are they taught you nothing in law school about the business of how to manage a law firm. In fact, they may have even given you the same bad advice that I have heard repeated from many thousands of lawyers who I've had the opportunity to work with over the years. Just be a great lawyer, and the rest will take care of itself.
Oh, okay. I love this one. Why did this part specifically speak to you?
When I got this book, it was serendipitous. Like, there's no other word to describe it because of where I was in my particular life. It literally showed up in the mail by another HTM member at like the time I needed it most, where I was in a partnership, which I'm not in anymore. But at the time, we knew we needed something else. Like, we needed we didn't even know what it was, but we needed something else. Like we were interviewing fractional CFOs. Like, is that what we need? And then this book magically showed up in my mailbox, and I read it cover to cover. And I then told one of my other business partners, like, you need to read this because this is what we need. And this is how we transform our law firm. Because I didn't know about any of this stuff. It changed my future.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And you, of course, were not a member of How to Manage a Small Law Firm when this book came to you in the mail.
Right.
I kind of love the timing of it all. You said it came at kind of the exact perfect time. What were some of the things, if you could go back and be like the ghost of Christmas past, right? What were some of the things at the time that were the big issues that you were hoping to solve?
Those are finances, like understanding or what we should know about our finances and what kind of financial control should we be having? What should our bookkeepers be doing? What kind of reports should we be getting? And when we're contemplating or needing to make the decisions to strategically grow our law firm, we were doing it now like blind. We didn't have any of that information. And then how do you think about the other parts and how they all rotate together and that we should not be in the center of it?
I am fascinated by your entire arc, Colleen, because I do think that, like, sometimes the universe sends us a nod. I'm glad that this book was the nod. Even though I'm not a business owner, it definitely had an impact on me. So it's always fun to hear, when you get something that's a little bit like lightning. Did you start doing Profit First right away? Did you start paying yourself first right away? Or what was the first action that you took after you read the book?
I signed up for Bootcamp and then I bought a plane ticket to Denver. So that was 2 years ago, April 2024. And I have 4 kids. I've never been away from them for over 24 hours. And I left for 4 days because after reading this and learning what I didn't know, and there's so much that I still don't know, but at the time it was so eye-opening. It's like, I need more. I need to learn more. And I told my husband, I'm like, you're going to have to take off work and I need to go to Denver to figure this out because I think this is the missing piece that we need.
Yeah. For those listening who might not know, the boot camp that Colleen is talking about is a program that we run occasionally for law firm owners who are not members of How to Manage a Small Law Firm. But it's essentially a business plan boot camp where you go through and start learning how to think about your law firm as a business and how to get it functional and working. I think that's wonderful, Colleen. What was your experience like in Denver?
It was like the prescription that I needed. And I left so inspired, and then meeting other attorneys that want to do differently as well, practice law differently, or I should not even practice law differently, wanting to run their law firms differently. And I just like coming back to my hotel room every night and just thinking about what the things I learned about and how can I implement what I just learned and what can I start doing to start making a positive change and having a business that truly works for me instead of me being, the opposite, the other way around.
And how did it work out? What were some of the things that you wrote down and took action on when you got home?
I have pages. I have books of my notes. I have like a whole bookshelf of all of the things from every live quarterly meeting as well. All the inspiration that comes from that. But from discovery day to the first LQM is, I think it's just how to, like, thinking back on the 7 parts. Well, no, it's starting with a business plan. It was really just starting with a business plan that I had never done before. Like, I had it in my head, but like sitting down and completing one. And then realizing this is much bigger than just like for this year, like next year, and thinking the year after that, what is my life going to look like? And is that possible? Is this possible? Like what they're telling us. But like starting with a plan, that's what I was working on like feverishly, is like trying to put together my first business plan.
we actually have the business plan workbook that we use for Bootcamp. That's one of the resources in Profit First for Lawyers, those QR codes that you can scan. We'll put a link to that in our show notes as well for anybody who wants it. And anybody who needs a refresher on the 7 main parts, that is in chapter 5 of the book. But essentially, that's just the 7 main parts of every business, and law firms included, right? You've got your marketing, your sales, your production, your people, your physical plant, right? Whether you're remote or not, people have to have a space that they sit and work. Your financial controls, and then the 7th one is you, the business owner's goals. And we kind of help build a business plan surrounding the 7 main parts, because you have to get them in alignment. RJon always says that when your 7 main parts aren't in alignment, it's kind of like having a kink in your garden hose. The water just can't come out very, very well. Colleen, was there an immediate difference for you once you started implementing what you wrote down? Were you able to do that right away, or were you kind of scared to get started?
No, I started doing it right away. And I think it started something that I wasn't quite prepared for, because ultimately I left my partnership, and but it set me on a completely different trajectory, on a different course that at the time I hadn't seen coming. Positively, it's all positive, and I'm still very close with my 2 business partners, but I think it just set me on a different trajectory, and something I needed to do is to go out on my own and create something even bigger, I think, than what I was anticipating. And it didn't all come out right after I went to that live quarterly meeting either. It's like over the next couple months, and meeting with my CEO, starting to do that, and figuring out, I think I need to go out completely on my own, and restructuring that. And what does that look like? But I've had such great support here at HTM as I did all of those things.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Well, and that I found you to come on the show because you had posted in the membership group about your experience paying taxes this year.
Yeah.
So I know that you are officially following Profit First accounting principles now. Can you tell us about how long that happened, and then recount for the audience at home? This is one of my favorite stories. You were cracking me up. I was like, I've never seen somebody so excited to pay taxes before.
Well, because my experiences in previous years were so painful. So when I wasn't implementing Profit First, so I have been in the last 6 months, like really implementing Profit First. It's like I've read the book several times. I went back and reread it again. It's like I need to start implementing this, because nobody likes a hidden or a surprise tax bill. And that's exactly what happened to me and my husband 2 years ago. And it caused so much stress because we didn't have the money, and it was a 5-figure tax bill. Whew. And he had to work a bunch of overtime. My husband's in law enforcement, so that meant with 4 kids and crazy schedules, that was all on me, and that he wasn't there. And we don't like that. Like anytime he's off, we want to spend that as a family, and he wasn't. So to pay this huge bill that we got, that took us completely by surprise. So then implementing Profit First, this is we did our taxes, we got the amount, and it was there. Like, I don't want to say magic, because it's not magic, but it was there. And I just wrote a check. And then comparing to that experience 2 years ago, where, we're up at night, we're trying to figure out, how are we going to do this? How quickly can we do this? What are the penalties and interests that we're also going to be having to pay because we didn't have the money? It was night and day. So yeah, we celebrated that.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should. That's one of those things that I think a lot of the success stories that we've told on the show have been around, what people have been able to do with their profit account. And one of the things that I hear about, but we don't really highlight as much, is the tax account, right? And so I loved that so much, because I was like, I've really been remiss in highlighting that. But I can't even imagine the amount of stress that takes off to just have the money be there and not have to figure it out, not have to do the scrambling.
that's even worse, I think, too. It's like, we all know we have to pay taxes, but when you get an amount that you weren't expecting to pay and you don't have the means to pay it. But yeah, it was completely night and day situation. Never thought I would be celebrating paying the IRS. But, and then also the business is paying it. It's not us, it's the business that's paying it, which I think
As
is
it should,
bigger thing, you know?
I love that so much. Now, you obviously implemented your tax account. Did you implement your profit account too? Are you paying yourself first?
I am. So I do it twice a month right now, and it's my favorite day. So taxes and profits that all go into this, you know, I allocate both, but it's wonderful, like having that money already set aside and figuring out, you know, like that's mine and I can do whatever, you know, we need to do with it, whether that's reinvesting it into the business, because that's a decision I'm making, or it's going to my family. To me, that's exciting because it's planned for.
Yeah. That is one of the things, like, I am also important. My family is important. And this business is here to serve me. I'm not only serving the business, right? The business is here to serve me and my needs. And I love getting to hear all of the stories that people have about it. Now, as far as your business itself, obviously you kind of started from the ground up because you started your own entity. How long has your singular shingle been out?
A year and 3 months.
A year and 3 months. And how's it going so far?
It is going better than I could have anticipated. I mean, it's not easy. I don't want to say it's like a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination, but I've had amazing CEOs at How to Manage, and I've had two of them, and they've just had completely different perspectives on how to grow my firm to where I am right now. And the challenges that I'm going to face to the next turn and being prepared for those. But what I think is even more wonderful is that how HTM has impacted my family. My kids go to Kids Club. They like starting their own businesses and being little entrepreneurs themselves, and my husband being involved and being supportive. So it's like this whole universe that has been created, even more so since it's my firm now.
I love, there was a tone that happened in your voice when you said it's my firm now. And it's making me a little bit misty, Colleen, right? But that sense of ownership and that pride really comes through. And I'm so thrilled for you. Colleen, if you're comfortable sharing, and you can tell me absolutely not, but 1 year in, are you comfortable sharing kind of where your law firm is at right now?
We are at a run rate of $650,000 this year, which is almost it'll be almost 300,000 more than we did last year. So that's great. I have more, but more importantly, like going into profit first, it's having more profit and defining profit for myself. One is having time for my family, like actually being around, like working 80 hours a week is not an option for me. Because I have small kids, like I have to be home. That's important to me. And they have 750 extracurricular activities that we're involved in. So I'm also a full-time chauffeur to all of those activities as well. But it's defining profit and being available and having the freedom with my time and scheduling those things, and not letting the business run that over is I told that to my CEO, like that's what profit means for me. It's the flexibility for my family, and increasing my total owner benefit, because otherwise what's the point of doing all of this if I'm not getting the benefits from my firm, with money that I want to make or the lifestyle that I want to have? Then why am I sticking my neck out like this and having my own business?
What would you say to somebody who maybe is a little bit intimidated or hasn't taken the step to actually start putting their profits first, hasn't started taking their taxes out first, right? What advice would you give to a law firm owner who may be on the fence or just hasn't made the time to make it happen yet?
Well, I think you have to start with having an honest assessment with yourself. Like, what is your priority? Like, Why did you start your law firm? There's a reason why you're not working for someone else. So what is it? And really remembering what that is. And there's no harm with trying it. Just try it for a quarter and see what happens. And if you don't like it, if it's not beneficial, you can stop at any time. But I think it just changes your whole perspective. And then that you're operating on a different level where the stress isn't there. You don't have to worry, and that it's serving you. That's the whole purpose of being a business owner, is so that the business serves you rather than you are serving the business. So it completely changes everything just by starting. And I'm starting small. I'm still starting small. I only have 2 accounts. I don't have all the accounts, but it's like, I just wanted to start somewhere rather than I need to have all these accounts. And then I realized I kept putting it off and putting it off. I'm like, no, I'm just going to start. Today I'm starting. I had an appointment with the bank and I'm just going to start, and I'm just going to see how it goes. And just by doing that, like I said, I had the money for my taxes this year, and we could just write a check and it was done. Like, there was no concern. There was no discussion. It was done. And that is enough proof in the pudding for me to be a soul believer.
Well, I can't wait to continue and follow along on your journey. Overall, I think I don't get to interview people who are still kind of early on their journey as much. And so when RJon says in the books, like, this will make your law firm more profitable, it's not hyperbole. It's not, right? Like, if you will take this action step, take that leap, it just darn plain works.
Right. You can't beat it. I mean, it works. You just have to do it. You just have to start. And you can start small. You don't have to have some big aggressive goal. Just start small. Even with profit, I can't remember what the book had suggested, like, just start small, even if it's 1%, but that's 1% you're setting aside for yourself, and like putting 20% aside, that's money you don't have to scramble for at the end of the year. It's already there. It's already there.
It's already there.
Yeah.
If I was going to kind of distill everything that we talked about today, I might say, keep an open mind and allow new information. If there's something that you are struggling with, maybe put it out into the universe and let the universe come back with an answer. And I might even also say, like, when you receive an answer, get to work right away. Don't let the momentum die. Don't let the excitement die out. I would say, I think a lot of what you talked about was kind of this. It reminds me of that poem, what are you going to do with your one wild and precious life? That was just something that kept coming back to me over and over. You know what I mean? That what are you working so hard for if it's not for your family and to build the life and the career of your dreams? And I think also, I really loved what you said, to sit with that thought, actually. Why are you doing what you're doing? And why is it important to you? And what areas need to improve so that you can live the life you've always wanted to live? Did I miss anything, Colleen?
Not at all. You summarized that very well.
Well, I so appreciated this. I feel like, your story, I have a tender spot for your story, and I'm so glad that you shared it with us. I have one more question that I always like to ask every single guest that comes on the show. And it is this, separate and apart from anything that we've talked about today, and it does not have to be at all related to Profit First. What is a piece of advice that you have been given since joining HTM that you have taken action on that's made a big difference in your life?
What is your why? What is your why? Like, identifying what drives you, and it doesn't have to be completely related to it. You'll find that it is why you're a lawyer, but like, what is that why? What is your bigger purpose? Like, like, that's something. So I'm in PPM that has struck the biggest chord with me, is because that is what the the interconnectedness between everything I do and all the decisions I make and how I approach the world and relationships that I'm making too. It's my why. And then it's not even like I want to provide a better life for my family or for my kids. It's just how do I perceive myself in this world and how do I interpret information? But like, then how does that translate into the 7 parts of my business and my marketing message? Like that, it was so powerful. Because, and then like, even down to recruiting and hiring people, it's like, you got to find people that are on board with your message too. So that has been my biggest one. That's just been recently here the last couple months with HTM and PPM.
Oh, I love that so much. And for anybody out there who's listening and doesn't know, PPM is a series of calls. They're the practical, profitable mindset calls that are led by RJon and Ali and Erica Ferenzi and Oscar Ferenzi. If you want to get a little bit taste of what those look like, Erica actually runs her own podcast called The Exponential Entrepreneur, where she plays clips of some of those PPM lessons. And they are, as is named, I think all of the business names that RJon has ever had are really evident what it's about, right? They are practical, they are profitable, and they help to expand your mindset so that you can lead a better life. I have so loved getting to speak to you today. I'm so grateful that you, again, allowed me to pull you onto the podcast. If somebody needed estate planning services in the San Diego area, how would they get a hold of you?
They can call our firm. It's 951-200-3079, or you can email at welcome@protectyourfamily.law.
Colleen, thank you so much for being here today. This was so fun.
Thank you, Carly. I really enjoyed it.
And folks at home, that's what we've got for you today. Stay tuned next time as we continue our 7-part series on financial controls and financial literacy, and we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Profit First for Lawyers podcast. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, tell a friend and buy your copy of the book at profitfirstforlawyers.com. Your future self will thank you for it, and we will see you next time.